Hi guys, this is Joshua Valentine, or Joshua Rotondo Valentine, as I'm known in a research context. I'm the tarot reader behind this channel, Valentine Reads, and this will be my first tarot reading I'll post publicly on here. So I've kind of promoted this kind of promoted this channel, to many people on my social media and also people I just know at UC Merced. And so I hope everyone does happen to enjoy this, or they kind of find resonance with some of it. I've read tarot cards for about 4 years now. I actually first was introduced to tarot, I want to say, by Stargirl the Practical Witch, which is she's probably okay. That's how she was originally named. She's now named or identified as Anita Serene, professionally. But she, as Stargirl, introduced me to tarot, and the bulk of my inspiration comes from her. But also Charmed Intuition Tarot, which is kind of similar to this format, how she presents her tarot cards. Hermit Tarot, all those other tarot readers on YouTube. YouTube's where I was introduced to tarot. I actually started reading tarot with Uno cards, where I assign meanings to each tarot card. No, not each tarot card. Each Uno card, they have their own meaning. I don't even remember the order I selected the names in, but that's how I kind of did it. Um, I I don't really read tarot, so tarot cards, I say that a lot, but I use it interchangeably with oracle cards. So I'm probably more better described as an oracle reader, but I use tarot just because it has a more, I'd say it's a more established connotation within our culture at large, American culture at least, and Western culture, to where I could say tarot and people would have a broad conceptualization of that. So this tarot reading, or is there anything else I should say? Well, in addition to being a tarot reader, I'm also a witch, and I'll go into that in another video. But I do talk a lot about like what spells I've written, and how I feel like gets reflected in the material world, and how I believe what's the natural basis for that. I don't know if you could tell, but I am into research. I do have that kind of dialect, associated with research scientists. I'm currently a part-time research assistant at the University of California, Merced. And I guess part of the reason why I wanted to start this YouTube channel is because, I feel like tarot is a very lucrative business on YouTube, and I feel like there's a lot of fertile soil, algorithmically, to develop a channel. And so I feel this would be a good way to start a business and help with my books. I'm also a writer, but also just to give me a more steady income, potentially. So yeah. So the first reading I will be uploading, which is this one with these Britney Spears Oracle cards that I got from Target, is a February reading. So it'll be describing the month of February, essentially. So we'll go ahead and get into the first cards, or the first deck. It is the Visionary, with this little blue ring. I selected it from my charms drawer. Then we also have the Siren, which also has a house from, Life, the Life game, and the Artist. It has this, this military member. It's actually an earring. I designed it. It's very crappy design with like a glob of hot glue placed on the back. But nonetheless, these are the groups. We have Group 1, the Visionary, Group 2, the Siren, Group 3, the Artist. So we'll go ahead and get into the first one. So the Visionary, when I first pulled this card, so I pulled these cards like, I want to say Sunday, and I got all the charms on Sunday. Yes, Sunday. And I kept them on this desk right here, relatively unchanged from where I originally placed them. And I actually did kind of work with this card. I kind of was like, okay, I could kind of see what this card represents. Because I asked for cards that represent, I guess, the people who chose these groups. So what I got with this one, this blue ring, combined with this image of Britney Spears in this outfit, it kind of reminded me of unconventionality. There's something about your style that's unconventional. I think it's specific to your fashion. I think you do like your fashion style. I mean, I think it's true for a lot of people that their fashion sense is indicative of something related to their personality, but I'd say with you, your fashion style is very integral to your personality. You might be a fashion studies major. You might be a part of something that involves the design of fashion or the curation of it. There's something in your livelihood that involves fashion, and it's very integral to it. Um, and I think there is something unconventional about your fashion style. So why I get that is because this is Britney Spears, um, I guess the pinnacle of femininity in pop culture in the early 2000s, late 90s. And then I got this blue ring, and Britney Spears is a very commonly found figure, commonly reveled figure. And she's the epitome of femininity, some would argue. But then I got a blue ring with this card, and it kind of just made me think of some unconventional type of nature. So I think possibly within the month of February, there's an emphasis on your fashion sense, your creation of fashion. It How the clothes you wear might be more significant. You might be buying clothes that might be significant to you. Something significant with your fashion. But aside from that, let me get the card deck. This is the Britney Spears Oracle. Got it from Target. A lot of people said it reminded them of me, and then I just had to buy it. So let's see, the Visionary. Hey, the best Oracle cards are the ones where you could just read it right from the card itself. Oh, it's in alphabetical order. Okay, 81. Possibly 81 is significant to you, and that could apply to some of you. Or 7 or 9. Combinations of those. I don't look too deeply into stuff like that. Okay. But as her fame grew, Britney began to rebel against the constraints of her career. She even wrote a song, Overprotected, about it, and its message of feeling confined became something of a signature for Britney. She was no longer a girl, not yet a woman, and there was so much world out there to explore. What am I doing with my life? She sings, answering herself with, you will find it out, don't worry. The visionary knows that the world is hers for the taking, and that she's brave enough to stand up for herself and take a chance on the unknown. Channel your inner visionary when you, too, need time, space, joy, and love. So yeah, I think in the month of February you might be, I feel like there's some type of style you're growing into that you've thought about for a long time. It might be some habit or some lifestyle, specifically getting fashion, but it could be broadened to more other lifestyles. But I feel like you are growing into some type of lifestyle, broadly speaking, that you have envisioned yourself partaking in for a while, but you've been pushing it off for a while. And you've been getting complacent in this current way of being or this current way of acting or portraying yourself that you've wanted to get out of the habit of portraying or being or acting as, but you've never had the willpower to progress from. So I definitely feel like that could be rooted in something to do with how you grew up. Maybe you felt self-expression was something you were limited by, or had been someone limited it in your life growing up, a parental figure, a family figure, some figure that's you considered above you or that you looked up to, they limited your self-expression. Or that could be you limiting your own self-expression through insecurities. So I feel like with the month of February, there's an emphasis on you taking charge of a certain part of your life that you would like this certain lifestyle to be implemented into. And I feel like there's an emphasis on fashion. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and, so like when I do tarot, I typically just pull whatever deck I feel called to. I have about 11 decks. Again, it's Oracle I usually do. I'm going to do the magical messages from the fairies, Doreen Virtue, and I'm not sure if she's still a trustworthy psychic. I've heard some stories about her, but who knows. So here's how it goes. When I shuffle cards, I shuffle like this, and I only pull a card when one card falls out. I don't pull multiple, I only do one at a time. That's just to make it the cleanest, most reliable possible reading, to where it's not unscientific, I guess. I try to make it as operationalized and smoothly as possible. So, cards. I'm going to say it in my head, by the way, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aware of how the dynamics of tarot. Yeah, it's interesting because the first card we got was dietary change. Improve your diet and your life will also improve. So there's some type of change you're engaging in the month of February that you've been thinking about for a long time, years or whatever, and you're finally growing into that livelihood. I wasn't totally getting it'd be related to diet, but I'm getting it's a lifestyle. I felt an emphasis from fashion. That could just be because of the nature of these cards. But there's some lifestyle change that you're growing into that you felt like you've never been able to. We got another card. Yes, okay. Express your individuality. There's an emphasis on like you taking charge in something and you breaking away from some type of insecurity or insecure attachment, I guess, to maybe not that. That's the wrong choice of words, but some type of insecurity you've had regarding something you've been meaning to express, and I think you're becoming more individualized and you're expressive. What it is you're expressing, I really get it's something to do with fashion. Because look, this card, it's nighttime, and the only thing that is emphasized by the moon's light is this woman's fashion, this fairies. She's expressing in the pitch black while being illuminated by the sun, the moon, and so I really feel like you might, maybe you'll go shopping somewhere. I mean, for a long time, I wanted bell bottoms. I've wanted them since the 4th grade. I asked my mom, can you get me some bell bottoms? Can you make me some bell bottoms? And she told me people would bully me. So I didn't get any in the 4th grade. Now I'm in college, and I finally got bell bottoms. There's a store, and I found some. They're at 2 stores. They're both women's pants. I'm a guy. But I just bought them, and I've worn them ever since. This was like a little after Christmas, and I've loved both these pants since. I had to get them hemmed by my mom, just so they didn't catch on my shoe. But I really feel like that you're gonna purchase some type of clothing, maybe at an antique store or any store really that sells clothing, and it'll really give you a boost of confidence and make you feel like you're taking control over your life. And it's possible lately, for a long time, you could have felt like you don't have a lot of control over a certain segment of your life. And I feel like this is related to school and work. I don't know what it is about it you can't control. You might work to where your position might be where you have a lot of responsibilities, but you don't feel like you have a lot of originality in how you can go about those responsibilities. You might be micromanaged by your boss or something. And so I feel like that's made you insecure to where you feel like you can't manage these segments of your life independently. And I feel like you getting this piece of clothing or you taking on this lifestyle and really still getting article of clothing, or it could be an earring even. But I feel like you're taking charge just by, oh God, I hate when that happens and drop a shit ton of cards. But you're taking charge over this segment of your life just by expressing yourself through a remote part of your expression. Piece of clothing, maybe earrings. So makeup, you might be just a different style that you've envisioned yourself pursuing, but you never really had the confidence to take on. But I feel like with this insecurity, in a work or academic context, confidence will just come to you. You'll just see that piece of clothing, you'll see that earring, and you'll just feel called to it. We've got another card. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. Yes, this is tying in so nicely. I'm thinking you as a person, you might be naturally very quiet. Some of you might be, or you might be timid or shy, or just not very expressive with what's on your mind or what you're passionate about. And I feel like in the month of February, you'll really come into this mode of being that's new for you. And it's basically what we've been getting. But you'll be expressing something that is more, how can I say this? It's less, it's more expressive. I don't want to say more expressive because like, I'm at a crossroads where I'm in science, but I'm also very spiritual, and I like trying to think of bringing those two together, and I don't like talking generally or broadly. I like there being specificity, yeah. So I think you're being more loud with how you express it. So it's not, you're having a more potent expression of this side to you that you've always envisioned, but you've never had the ability to express. Let me pull one more card. And we got summer. So, I really, this ties into the unconventional nature part, because summer, and then this is a February reading, so I really feel like you're the type to wear shorts in the summer. No, most people do. I mean, you're the type to wear shorts when it's cold, or you're the type that wears an article of clothing that is just totally, it separates you. But I feel like you've been judged for it, and you do have a reaction to it, and I feel like you've once you get that reaction to that judgment, it's hard for you to come back into that side of you. Now, I do think it's something that's hard for you to express with fashion, but I think you will be coming into that side of you this month. And I think you've attempted to express it, but it's hard because you probably are prone to reacting to judgment. I'm that type of person. Sometimes I'm able to mask it, but I'm naturally a sensitive person, and when I am judged by someone or criticized, it's hard to move on from it, especially when they say it in a very mean way or insensitive way. But I think you might be of that nature too. So, is there any other cards I could get for this month of February? Yeah, half the deck. Chaos, destruction, death. Just kidding. That's one of my worst fears with cards, is like getting like a bad message. I mean, it's hard when you have OCD. You already have intrusive thoughts left and right, and I have OCD. So, let me see, is there anything else? Okay. Intuition. So, can you elaborate on this card? So, no, elaborate on this card. So I also feel like in this month, you might be very nostalgic over someone that passed away in your life, a loved one that passed away in the past, obviously, or just someone that you're not close with anymore. They could still be alive, they might not be, but whatever applies to you, it's someone Oh God, oh my God. I don't hate when that happens, but it's really cool when stuff like that happens where the card comes out right as you're talking about it. But I feel like you're very close with someone this month that are just thinking about them a lot, that you're not with them anymore. You're not with them physically or emotionally. You're just missing a time you used to have with them that you really enjoyed. So I think in addition to finding yourself through your self-expression, you're also just appreciating you what you've interacted with in the past and what you've enjoyed interactively. Let's see. Yeah, love. So those. I think you'll be very in the month of February. You will really be like reminiscing over people you love from the past that could be dead, could just not be close with you anymore. I love my grandma still. Her name's Grandma Cookie. I love her a lot. She always makes, I think in the summer usually, or no, April, she makes pozole for my sister, and I think she makes pozole verde. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm a Spaniard, Hispanic, not Mexican Hispanic. But she does make pozole, that one, green one. But I don't talk to her all the time. I haven't talked to her in a while. But I still love her, and I still miss those times. And I think you'll be in that same type of energy. So I think just in the month of February, also just write down things that you loved about this person, and realize that even if they're not with you anymore, you could still encapsulate those memories just by thinking about them, or like embodying them, because I feel like there's a difference between just thinking about something, because you could think about any memory, but also feeling that memory as if you're still there, because you know how that difference, like you think about it but it's so passive, but you feel it, you feel your muscles moving as if you're actually there. So I think in the month of February, also just take time to relive those memories with the person you love. I'm really getting emphasis on a grandma figure. I don't know if that resonates with some of you. Let me see, is there anything else? And I'm thinking I'll pull an Everyday Witch Oracle. Just sum it up. And this is a good card to have. I think Illumination. I think you might have repressed feelings about this person to where you don't know how to, again, express. I think that also ties into it. I think there's like, you have feelings or memories about this person that you never truly express because it does hurt to express it or think about it. Because, I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know if repressed memories have scientific backing, but it's at least a memory you don't like engaging with, so you try to block it away. And so I think this month you'll really be coming to terms with that relationship and thinking about that memory more, expressing yourself more. So I think that this month is mainly emphasizing an expression, some type of not activation, but like bringing something to the surface that was not typically brought. It was burdening your unconscious, and I think you're now coming to terms with that. So now I want to get the Everyday Witch Oracle. Let me see. So give me one card that represents group number 1. God, I love this back. It's so cute. And we got... God, I love when stuff like this happens, where it just all ties in so neatly. That's when it has it's a reliable reading. But this is what we got. Speak your mind. So yeah, definitely an emphasis on expression, expressing something that is kept within, that's not brought to the surface at all. So I really think this month is all about self-expression for you, expressing something that has not been expressed. So I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. I'll be at least doing monthly readings, possibly taking personal readings, but definitely subscribe, like this video, that helps this channel. I know a lot of people like taking pictures of the readings after I do them. So I'm gonna just do that. Also, Lady Gaga flash. But here's the reading, the cards. Try to so you could screenshot it. And yeah, thank you guys. So now let's get into group number 2's reading. So usually after a reading, I like to clean up all my cards. I mean, it's good to have a clean space while doing tarot readings. Plus, I'm just, I feel like when you think a lot about a lot of stuff, or you have a lot of ideas, you become so engrossed in those ideas that you don't mind what's happening in your environment. So, I think it's good to keep clean. Just a little chore advice from Josh. You all could call me Josh, too. I like Joshua is such a formalized name. I mean, it has its place, like, in legal settings and medical settings, but when you know me, like, in this context, as a subscriber, you call me Josh. So the next one is group number 2. If you picked Siren in the house, I feel like, you know, group number 1, there was an emphasis on coming to terms with something and expressing something that was not being expressed, and there was no ability to express it. But with group number 2, I really feel like you are grounded. So we got a house. I feel like you know how to express yourself. You are very confident by nature, and I think you're also very ambitious, is what I'm getting. So I think with your ambitions and your passions, you're naturally very confident about it. So I don't think you have a problem with expression. I think this month there is less emphasis on finding your voice, as was with group number 1, and more so just amplifying it. You already know how to speak your mind, but this month you're just speaking it. You're just speaking it even louder, pursuing more activities that you weren't used to, that you've maybe not pursued yet, but can just only tangentially at least push you forward. There she is, dripping in diamonds and at the height of her pop star power. Britney dazzled in the Toxic video, wearing nothing but shimmering crystals, a nod to her iconic "Oops, I Did It Again" VMA look. Toxic on the album In the Zone signified a new dawn for Britney, a more mature, sexual, and independent moment for a star who continued to burn very, very brightly. As the siren, Britney entices and enchants, knowing that everything she needs for his journey is within her. So yeah, I think you might already know you're a special person. I think you're a very confident person by nature. I believe everyone's special, but I think you have this type of... Oh, I shouldn't put that back. I think you have this type of power, personally, to where you can inspire someone naturally just by being excited about what you have to share with the world, or just being excited about what you do. And I think you might actually attract a lot of new people in your life this month. And so what I want to do for this card deck is I'm getting a call for the Karma cards by, who's it again? Monte Farber. This one. It don't have the deck, but luckily they have it all basically spelled out. So I want to ask the same thing, but again, I get called to different decks based on the card group. So give me your card represent. Two. 1 of 1. This is kind of a tight setup too, because because I'm right in this corner of my room. Okay, group number 2. One card. So let's see. And also, I don't know how, I'm not an astrologer, and these cards have signs, houses, and planets. I just read it like what the cards say. So responsibly, success, become a person of power and status. I feel like that definitely is very relevant to what I was saying. But I think broadly, it's just about managing, I'd say, what you're already successful at. Because I think you're aware of your prowess when it comes to navigating a social world and also achieving what you want. I think maybe the card is suggesting do that responsibly. I think you might be a popular person, you might have a lot of friends, you might be very well liked, but I think don't get conceited about it. Be sure. I think what this card is saying is just remind yourself to ask, just as simple as asking someone how their day's been, and as they ask, have you been? Or interact with them when they talk about their day or what they've been doing. Be just as excited about their day as they are for yours, because naturally that's how they're going to be with all you've been doing. So let me see. Give me another card. So I think group number 1 was more timid about expression. I think you're much more expressive and confident, but I think you also have to be responsible and have some self-restraint about your confidence. Not to say it's bad to be confident, but sometimes we can let ourselves dominate a conversation. And I think it's always good to have a dynamic conversation to where there's both parties engaging. So I think, let me see. I don't know why. Okay. Planets. Stir up the situation by using be open to new ideas about, invent a way to. See, what stuck out to me was be open to new ideas about. This card, so Uranus, it's one of the more unconventional planets because it's tilted on its axis. So it appears diagonally. So I think there's something that happens in the month of February that might it'll be like an epiphany. So I feel like typically you're used to being the creator of most ideas within your proxy or with wherever you work or wherever you act. And I feel like the month of February, you have an awakening to where you realize you're not the only creator of ideas, that it's a more collaborative process, and you begin to appreciate the people you interact with. Inspire others with, be prepared to sacrifice for, yielding is the only way to. Yeah, I think definitely, what else is this? Neptune, so it's interesting you got it consecutively, Uranus and Neptune. But I think what's also interesting is all these cards, they're in the back of something. So they're in the outer end. I think the 10th house, 10, 11, 12, Uranus, Neptune. There's an emphasis on you kind of taking a step back, being at the outer edge, and just allowing the rest of the group to collaborate, and you insert for input that is relevant as well, but you don't dominate it. I think month of February, there's a collaborative process you're partaking in to where you're not dominating it, and you're finding peace with that. I feel like you become overwhelmed with being the one making all the ideas. And I think you like enjoying and being observant of the fact that other people have their ideas and they're entitled to them, and that the expression of them. I feel like you might sometimes dominate a conversation just by nature. Not like you're trying to be egotistical. You just naturally, you're a social butterfly, I'd say. I feel like I know someone that would pick this group if they picked wisely. Third house, by making the right connections, the idea in question, get your ideas going. So yeah, I think there might be a new person, in fact, that comes onto this collaborative team. Now, a lot of the people that watch this, that I've recommended this reading to, they do research. So maybe a new research assistant comes on to the lab. and they have a lot of ideas, and it kind of shocks you that they don't yield to you. Or you might work in some type of business, or you might do art with other people. You might be on a team of coworkers, but I feel like someone new's coming in, or someone old is gaining confidence and speaking up, to where it's a much more collaborative facilitation with the exchange of ideas, to where you're not the only one sharing ideas. And I feel like that shocks you, but you enjoy it, and I think it allows for some growth. I'm gonna do... I'll do Earth Magic. So these are the Earth Magic Oracle cards. They're one of my older decks. But I'm gonna ask for elaboration on this. Is there any other messages I could get? Got multiple cards. So let's see. We got Vision Quest. So it seems like there's a lot of emphasis on ideas. Okay. So group number 2, I don't quite remember where I left off before my phone died, because even though I did come back to look at the video from where it cut off, I actually took like a break from filming, and I went to eat a taco, and I drank some coffee, and I actually designed the cover, the thumbnail for this video. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It has like a 70s font. I think it's called ITC Bursanama or something. But it looks very nice, and has a color coordinated view for the month of February. So what I was getting with this card, I think that's what I remember, is it's interesting that it's desert, but it's a vision quest, and I think that kind of ties into the idea of your ideas being isolated from others. I think your ideas are always specified in how they're presented. I think they're presented as the gold. Also, I'm sorry I keep bumping into this. It's because my hand's right next to the tripod for this, but I think your ideas are always emphasized, and they're always brought up in collaborative groups. But I think in this group this month, you might be less, your ideas might be less emphasized, but you might actually be kind of giving the torch, or you might be giving the torch down to someone else. Not saying, you might be handing over the mic to someone else so they could share their ideas, and I think you might actually be more uplifted by that idea, rather than like with group number 1, where is emphasized them coming to finding their own voice. You're giving your voice to someone else. Submerged iceberg, so that makes sense. Like, I think there is an idea of you silencing yourself, just so you don't dominate all the conversations. And I think that might bring you confidence in a word or two. I'm sorry, I only like pulling one card, and the reason why... What is that card? Can't find that freaking card. The reason why is because it creates a smooth process to where I only am pulling one card. It's as reliable as possible. So, let's keep going. And I want to pull one card from the Sufi Wisdom card deck. So for group number 1, they did the Everyday Witch Oracle. For you, I kind of want to do Sufi Wisdom Oracle. Did I pull one card? Yes, I did. in a sense. So, what is that? That's kind of a little bit out there. I think it's possible there might be something you've been overthinking to where you feel guilty about it. It could tie into this, like, kind of the hogging of the conversation. Not saying you're necessarily intending to do that, but the dominance of it. You could feel guilty about that, which you might be more cognizant of it going forward in the month of February. But it could also be you might be feeling guilty about something else. And sometimes when you have anxiety, you might overthink the littlest things you do, and you might overthink people are weighing the consequences of your action much more than they actually happen to be. I naturally do that by default, someone with OCD and comorbid social anxiety, one of the worst mental combos in the world, in my opinion. And I do overthink how my actions affect others, because it's good to be exposed to that kind of frame of mind, to where you are thinking about before you speak and stuff, but little actions that they probably don't even think much about and don't hold against you, it's good not to overthink those. I thought that would be one card, because it was going to make sense if it was just release, but I'm adamant about only pulling one card. And I'm definitely not pulling 60% of the deck. Vigilance. I always forget what this word means. I think the stone people, I would look it up what vigilance means, but I think it's possible that you might have been too... So this is separate to the dominance thing, but I think how you perceive others' emotions and how you interact with them, it might be a little bit, I guess, shallow or standoffish, to where you don't interact with them at a deep level. So I think one thing you are being asked, you also are working on in the month of February, is responding to this, how being more emotionally available. I think you might be it's hard for you to be emotionally available, but I think you're making effort on that. So I think in a sense, you're putting yourself out there to be more available emotionally, but you're also taking a step back to allow for less dominance of the conversation. Yeah, there's definitely an emphasis on you, like there's something, like I think maybe you're a very powerful person in a sense, like the idea that you are a very confident person, you do have control of your life, which we've gotten that already, with the Siren, and all the other cards, but I think, you're tapping into that power for a different way, towards more intimate, rather than you showing off or being more prominent in a group-wide setting. You might be more expressive towards someone you care about. So let me see, is there anything else? Yeah. Movement. There's the idea of moving or applying it elsewhere. So I think there's basically, you're kind of shifting the emphasis of your expression from a group context to where you express your ideas and kind of, again, not show off, but you're very confident in front of people, and you're kind of being more intimate with those you love and those you care about. And you're probably, maybe you need to talk about something. That's also another thing. You might be more expressive about how you feel. So you are kind of, in a sense, fighting your voice, but it's really more you just redirecting your mental and emotional and, I guess, spiritual energy to a more intimate talk. You might be talking to a therapist, you might be talking to a friend or a family member, and it could be either one of you expressing something, but all in all, you're just being more emotionally available and just vulnerable. Self-creation. Be the author of your own life. I think that does definitely make sense. Like the idea of you, coming to terms with something and being the one who's in control of your expression. life's purpose, seek your own deeper vision for life. Yeah, that makes sense with what I said. Like, you're not very deep when it comes to how you explore emotions, and I think in the month of February, you're learning to explore emotions deeper. And I'm actually, so the first group, I only pulled from 3 decks. I'm kind of interested in using the Mermaids and Dolphins one. So I'm gonna, so, what is, accelerate on this? No, we're not pulling that much. Oh, God. Guys, I'm not actually that angry. I guess sometimes they could be a little more expressive than they intend to. But I hate when they drop a ton of cards also high. It's my face. Okay. One more card. Just one card. Describe month of February for group number 2. So I think there's a lot of emphasis on expression. I think that's obvious. I mean, everyone's always expressing something, but I think the difference between you and group number 1 is that you're just redirecting where you express your thoughts to a different domain. It's not you just generally expressing, it's more just more specificness, specificity. Let's see. Watch your thoughts. It's important not to only think about what you desire, not what you fear. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Watch your thoughts. There's an emphasis on watching where you apply your mental energy. So I think that all makes sense. So group number 2, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this reading resonated. And if you wouldn't mind, be sure to subscribe, like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment detailing how you liked the reading, how it resonated. I hope you tune in for more. Thank you. So let's get on to group number 3, the last group. So I like cleaning up my cards, so I don't get, just so when I'm ready to use them again, I have the full deck available. Group number 3, I think I already can tell what your reading is going to be about. Oh, there it is. And then this one. This one. Okay, so these big decks, I have to hide them. Not hide them, but I have to put them on the ground because they're too hard to carry. Stack. So group number 3. So, kind of very limited in what it's talking about, but it's the artist. It's emphasis on art. I'm really getting, there is an idea that you've kind of become impassioned about that you might have created. Well, it's something that you've thought of. It's no thought is totally novel. We take inspiration from different parts of the world to produce new thought. That's creativity. So not everything's entirely novel if you think about it. But I really feel like there's something that you've created that you've been passionate about. Whether it be art, or it could be a research paper, it could something that involves your hands, maybe an idea for a book, an idea for a movie, idea for a job. And I think you've been learning in the past few months to be more restricted and guarded with who you share your ideas with. Because I think you've learned from the past it's better to say less about your ideas. Because I think when you say too much, it reveals it. And I think you might be more guarded in who you share those ideas with, because you might fear losing agency over what you've created, and also kind of giving your ideas away. I think that's what you've been worried about. So let me read the artist card. And it's pretty obvious what I got, though. We got a military person, we got the artist, and also this is a piece of art I created. It's an earring. A terrible one, but an earring nonetheless. So the artist is one of the first ones. Brittany's artistic talents aren't limited to music. When she isn't working, she loves to get in touch with her inner Van Gogh and spend some time at the easel. One of her flower paintings sold for $10,000, and proceeds went to benefit victims of the 2017 shooting in Las Vegas. Just as she does with music and dance, Brittany uses art to express herself and never takes her work too seriously. Unlock your creativity and see the world in bright, vibrant color as the artist. It's interesting she said it never takes her work too seriously, and she did also sell it. So I think it's possible you might be too restricted in who you share your art with. You might be too guarded. So let's see about that. I'm going to use the Prism Oracle. I just felt called to it. It's a very colorful deck. So group number 3. Group number 3. February month. Okay. Balance. So the last few cards, or groups, I've been talking right off the bat, but I think I want to get more cards first. Sadness. Where's that card? There's times where cards will fall under my chair and I'll never even find them until a month later. Where the hell did that card go? Oh my god. Well, group number 3, you have a lost oracle card. So, it's possible that meeting might be significant, but I'm not supposed to know it. That might be how some tarot readers interpret it, or I just lost it. And I'll find it in 6 months. So, elaborate on this reading. Now, if that black card, the fear card, came out, that would have made sense. I didn't lose this. Oh. What do you know? Creativity. So I think you might be more restricted about who you share your ideas with, because this is kind of tying into group 1. But I think you might be restricted with who you share your ideas with because you fear your ideas being rejected or criticized. And I think when you were a kid, you might have been very impassioned about your stuff you're interested in, and probably art or just other stuff. But you might have been frequently discouraged to express that side to you, or criticized, or someone made fun of it in school, or a parent disapproved of it. And I think that has stuck with you. And I think for a long time, or at least for a few months, or a short period of time at least, you've been more guarded with how you express these, with how you express, or when you express these things, and who you do. But I think the month of February, what you do, or what you will do, or what you really should do, is you should seek balance up, like, at least in the people you are sharing these intimate thoughts with. And space that's interesting. Because I think you should realize the potential for sharing this piece of work with the outer world. I think maybe you've thought of it, like selling your artwork, even commissions for art. It might also be hard because of AI, so that might be intimidating too. But I think you in the month of February, you should try to seek balance, or you will seek balance in the group of people you express your interest to, or what you're creating, or what you share it with. And I think you might be gaining confidence with that. So let me see. Elaborate on this. So yeah, I think there's like you're gaining more confidence in a type of creation you've made, and something you've been creative with. You're being more open about it. I think typically you might be less expressive of it because of some criticism of it. And it's possible you might be selling it or engaging in some type of business venture. I'm also getting, maybe some of you're applying to a graphic design position or an art position to where you have to show off some of your pieces in order to demonstrate your aptitude for the job. I think that'd be a good word for it. Strength. Yeah, it's a good card. You're gaining confidence. And so, let me see. It's emphasis on you showing off your artwork. So, I'm going to do Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels. But I'm not getting an emphasis on love. Keep in mind that. I'm not getting emphasis on love. And I think if in a more targeted reading I would. Well, obviously, if it's targeted to love. But I don't think I'm getting anything with love. I want to, like, focus, because I feel like I'm feeling drawn to, like, the idea of someone criticizing your art. Not, like, endorsing it, but, yeah. But I really feel like something someone said turned you off from sharing your artwork or creations or passions with other people. I'm really getting something you have to create, though, to where you feel insecure about it. But I think you're beginning to develop the confidence to share it and pursue it as a creative outlet. Healing family issues. Yeah, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. I think it might have been your parents who made you insecure about this art form or medium. It could be drag for some of you even. I think there's a lot of you who are in the LGBTQ community. And it could be your parents just didn't accept you doing drag or putting on makeup or painting your nails, which is, I think, a makeup. But broadly, it's creating something that you've been insecure about. You've been insecure about sharing it with people. And I think in this next month, you are really becoming confident with it and sharing it with other people. It's very similar to group number 1, but I think it's more so like you using it as part of a business idea instead of business ideal rather than strictly just healing and expression. You already express this, I'm getting, but I think you do it in private or you conceal it. And I think you just need to heal those family issues to where you feel insecure expressing those feelings. Or not expressing those feelings, but expressing that artistic medium. I think you're healing past issues with it regarding what your family has said about it. So, let me see. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So I think don't glean too much from this kissing and stuff. I'm not really getting anything romantic, but your feelings are real and worth exploring. I think that's about how you feel about your art. And I keep saying art. That might be just a natural bias because I'm an artist. I'm a writer and graphic designer, but I think your passion for this creation, I think it is warranted, and I think you deserve the chance to explore it. And I think you shouldn't feel insecure about it. And I think you might have felt like maybe it's possible growing up your parents or family had a different perception of you. They had a different idea for what you grew up to do. They had this mold for you, and I think that your interests might have been for or kind of outside of those, or opposed to that mold, to where it didn't fit that mold. And I think that might have really conditioned you to not respect your wishes as a creator. And I think you're starting to kind of accept that. I think it's possible you might not, God, I need to stop bumping into this. I think it's possible you might not express or share this piece of art because you feel like it's not worthy of, I keep saying art, but I feel like you think it's not worthy to share this creation with people. And so I think you, like, since you feel like it wasn't worthy for your family or people you looked up to, it's not worthy to, like, share it at all. And so I think in the month of February, you're healing that side to you that made you feel like you can't express that thing. And I just pulled, like, 3 cards. So, oops. Separation. Time apart from your partners on the horizon. Yeah, it might even be that this is a family member that you are currently in contact with that could be criticizing you. And I feel like in the month of February, you might separate from them in order to take time for yourself. Or you might put a little blockade, or as I like to say, a filibuster in the family. Filibuster is a senatorial term, but I use it a lot in, like, when I put space between me and a person. I feel like you might be engaging with that mode of being or mode of interaction in order to protect your feelings and your art. And I was feeling like this card was going to come out. So I feel like you're separating from someone that criticizes your art or your creation or your talent, but you're engaging with someone that uplifts you and that supports you and that recognizes your talent. So I think there's this emphasis of, like, out with the old, in with the new, or something like that. In with the new, out with the old. Like, and that goes with your interactions. Who's uplifting you? Who's showing you support? Really getting this as someone you've looked up to for a while that you're maybe not letting go of, but you're putting space between you guys. God, not another card lost. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. That really tracks with what else the cards have been saying. Like, it's kind of like healing your inner child. I've never really explored that concept. I've heard it's more so a pseudo-scientific concept, and I'm a man of, I hate saying that, but man of science. Well, not hate, but it's a personal history. But I think, like, this ties into it. I think you are beginning to express that, I guess, quote-unquote, the inner child, or that playful side you have when impassioned about what you're talented for. And I think you're really expressing that this month. So I'm really feeling strongly about pulling from the magical messages for the fairies. Okay, so group number 3, I accidentally closed out because I was checking the percentage. I'm at 7%. We're still going strong. But I restarted it. So group number 3, month of February, elaborate. So let's see. Daughter. So you might exhibit feminine energy. You might be a woman, or you might just be a naturally feminine person if you go by those labels. But I feel like you're expressing some type of inner child, and I think it really is interesting that we got daughter and playfulness, and also getting an idea of there being trauma related to that. You might be a parent to where you have to, this might be for some of you, but you might be a parent to where I need to stop bumping into this. But you might be a parent, and your daughter might be a source of inspiration for you, or a little sister might be a source of inspiration for you, and coming to terms with that trauma. Let's see what else we got. Your wish is granted. What you asked for is coming true. So I feel like it's possible I feel like this is related to that person that you're gaining a connection with. I feel like you might have always wanted someone to be there that you could feel confident with your art, your creation with, and your talent with. And I feel like you're really beginning to bond with someone over that talent. And I think you've always really wished for someone like that. And I think that person is coming in this February. Now, that could be romantic. I was not getting that, but who knows? Might be slipping under my radar. But there's someone coming in that's going to be very special, and that helps you gain confidence over a creation or talent. Oh my God. Birthday. A significant birthday holds the answer to your question. So you could also be a Pisces or Aquarius baby. But I think what's notable is that there's an emphasis on the child here. The child's obviously happy, celebrating. So I think this is truly a month where you are celebrating your talents and your expression of it, and articulation of it. So I feel like the month of February really is about learning who to express your creative talents with and how to appreciate it without thinking of it as a burden or something to be ashamed of. So I think that's what the month of February emphasizes for you. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, group number 3, for watching. If you liked it, first of all, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below how this reading resonated. And I hope you come back for more. So thank you, everyone. Bye.